All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mindy Deeble, and I live here in Boise, Idaho. And I am so excited just to talk about health. How many of you truly believe that so many people just want to get healthier, right? We want more in our life. And I truly believe that our health is our wealth. We can make millions of dollars, but if we don't have our health to enjoy life, what good is our health? I have 8 or now 10 grandbabies, okay? And I want to spend as much time as I possibly can with them. And I want to be able to run around and just play and do the things that I really want to do with them. And that requires having good health. And so we're going to talk about health. I would ask all of you a question, if you don't mind. And if you dare to share, let us know, what is your big health goal this year? Like, what is something a challenge that maybe you'd like to overcome with your health, or something that you would like to do with your health? Because we're truly going to talk about it. That is always a journey. And it's something that I am constantly working on, every single day. But I love to get with, like, we're going to call this a mastermind of people to truly, focus on health and how we can all get better in that arena. So let's just get started. And really, why are we doing a health talk? So I'm going to share my screen here, and let's just talk for a minute as to why we are even talking about health. Well, as you know, in the last 30 years, there's really more things happening in the health arena than ever before. In fact, it has been predicted that today's generation of kids may not outlive their parents. Now, I don't like that, because I have 10 grandbabies and they're all under 6 years old. And I'm hoping and praying that they can outlive me and, their parents. But in the last 2 decades, diabetes has nearly tripled, asthma and cancer has nearly doubled, autism has increased 600%, mental health issues are on the rise, heart disease, 1 American dies every 37 seconds from cardiovascular disease, okay? Digestive issues, up to 74% of Americans have a digestive issue. And 88% of Americans have dysregulated glucose levels. So do you believe that probably talking about health is so important? Now, why so much happening now than ever before? Well, it's about education. If you think about it, many, many years ago, people smoked and they didn't really, smoking was kind of like, chewing a piece of gum. Like, they didn't really realize the impact that it had on our health. And then once they became educated, right? We all became educated. We realized, okay, maybe that's not so good for our lungs. Maybe that's not so good for our body. Well, now today, I believe that one of the biggest issues that we have is the foods that we eat, right? There are so many foods out there that have lots of sugar. They're cooked, they're processed, and that can cause all kinds of issues. And so our company, we are very focused in the health arena. In fact, so much so that we've been featured as one of the fastest growing companies in the nation, because our whole focus is to provide innovative, high impact health products that are changing lives in a major way. And in fact, we have a whole Facebook group of over 100,000 people sharing testimonies about how they are feeling better. They have more energy. They've lost weight. Maybe they look better, smoother skin, thicker hair. But really, it's about how they just have overall total wellness, and it's making a difference. We actually work with doctors and scientists who are creating products in these different arenas, in the fitness arena, energy and vitality, weight management, beauty, but really total wellness. As you know, like I said, there's so many issues now in that arena. And so today we're just going to talk about education and health, and you're going to hear from the very best. But what I want you to know is they may talk about a few products that have helped people. And these products are clean products that everybody wants and needs. They're whole food and raw. We have patented and proprietary formulas on our products. They're CGMP, certification on them. They're independent lab tested. But again, like I said, the testimonials are what I love most. And so I don't want to take any more time because we truly do have the very best education. In fact, the first gal that you're going to hear from, this gal, I just love her to death. Okay. Terry, she's a registered nurse. She's actually been in the health arena for over 40 years. She's been a registered nurse for over 40 years. She has been married for 26 years. I believe she has 7 grandbabies. Am I right? Is it 7 grandchildren? Yes. But what I love most is her passion for health and helping people. She has blessed so many lives with her education and teaching us, about metabolic health, which you're going to learn more about. I've heard the name when we first started really understanding metabolic health. I heard the name. In fact, I stood on the scale and they would, do the body composition and tell me about metabolic health. But I didn't understand how important it was to truly measure your metabolic health. And Terry has actually studied metabolic health for over 10 years, or probably even longer. And I just think she's one of the very best in this arena. And so I don't want to take any more time. Please help me welcome registered nurse Terry Hartke. Terry, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited you're here. And I can't wait. I'm going to be taking notes. So thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. I just have to hand it back to you. I got to meet Mindy about 16, 17 years ago on a stage in a theater in Boise, Idaho. I'll never forget that. Learning from her has just been an amazing lifelong since then process, and to be back in the same company with her now is just incredible. You'll be hearing more from Mindy later, but I want everyone on here, especially guests, if you don't know who she's a boss babe in business. She knows how to get business done. She knows how to love on people, have compassion, and have a lot of fun. She is the whole package. And so I just really want to give it back to her and encourage you when she comes back in and shares too, that you want to take a listen and take notes as well. So Mindy, thank you for that and for introing me into this. Yes, I've been a nurse for over 40 years. No, I didn't start when I was a child. I'd like to think I did, but it's been a long time. And what I witnessed over the last 40 years was some significant changes in our health, and I didn't like what I saw. And about 10 years ago, especially, I became very interested in obesity, what it meant for health, and not talking about, people's looks, but what it meant for health. And I really got in and started researching the chicken or the egg, what came first, did something cause obesity or was obesity causing? And so that's where I became really passionate and started listening and studying to a doctor who is he's an incredible man, Dr. Robert Lustig, who is a pediatric endocrinologist, and also he has a lot of degrees. He's a very smart man, but he teaches now specifically on metabolic health. As an MD and a professor from UC San Francisco and Davis, he now goes out and says, I'm trying to kind of right the wrongs. And so I've learned a lot from him. I've learned from others like Dr. Casey Means. There's a whole list of people. If you have interest, you can go Google metabolic health, and you're going to see health practitioners from all walks who are moving over more into integrated functional health and hitting metabolic health in a big way that we didn't talk about when I was first a nurse. And so I just want to share a quick few things. I'm going to try to keep this light and fun and not get too nerdy nurse on you. And but so it will be things that you'll remember. So right now, depending on what you read, there's 7 to 12% of Americans, and I know we have Canadians on here too, but we'll just include you in with us. But 7 to 12% of Americans have good metabolic health. Think about that. Only 7 to 12% of Americans have good metabolic health. The other 88 to 93%, not so much. And it can be on a spectrum of really bad, of course, to not even really knowing Now, there are people who know they have poor metabolic health, and we'll talk about this, and there's others who you this metabolic dysfunction, metabolic health, metabolic syndrome. What is this? Or maybe you've just started hearing it be tossed around. Metabolic health, in a nutshell, basically, is of your trillions and trillions and trillions of cells you have in your body, they all have to work with energy to work and function correctly. If they don't get the energy in correctly, they're not going to function correctly. And if they are burning energy and not getting rid of the waste, because think of anything that burns energy out there, any coal factories, you name it, any energy type production, there's waste that is left over. Well, the same happens in the cell. And so if that cellular waste doesn't get moved out, then you have problems there too. And this is all leading to then the cellular dysfunction, the cellular energy not working properly. They don't do their job the way they were designed to do completely or as well as they could. That's kind of the root problem right there, if you want to just know what is metabolic health. And how did we get here? How did we get to be in such a place? And this is now, I gave you the statistics for Americans, but globally, this is an epidemic globally. And bottom line, Mindy touched on this. She is absolutely right. We've added sugars to our foods. That's a big part of it. But the biggest part, I will say, is our processed foods. So think about it. When you go to the grocery store and you buy food, if it has a label on it and we think we're doing really good by reading the ingredients, but have we been told how they made that food, how they processed that food? Nope, they're not required to. So, and I would imagine Jen may get into this in a little bit. This is her forte. So, but we just have to know that it really does matter what we eat. So I encourage people, I'm going to get into our daily health system. But along with our daily health system, it is so important about how we eat and that we move, that we have some exercise. I'm not talking that you have to go do heavy duty lifting and cardio exercise for 20 or 30 minutes a day, but just get out some and walk. And so anyway, this is what brought me around to just having this passion about what was going on. Because as a baby nurse, I didn't pass out medications to people with certain disease processes unless they were like 65 plus, which I'm right there. So that's hard to imagine. But I didn't see that I saw in the younger populations. And now it's younger and younger and younger. So anyway, I want to give you all just a quick scenario, and then I'm going to talk about why I'm so excited about our metabolic health system, the daily health system. Well, we're going to imagine Linda for a minute here. Linda is a 45-year-old female, and she's experiencing some metabolic dysfunction. Despite leading a busy life, Linda might not be fully aware of her underlying issues affecting her metabolic health. Here are some of the symptoms she's experiencing. Fatigue. Linda often feels unusually tired, even after a full night's sleep. She attributes this to her busy schedule. Does this ring a bell for anybody? Is anybody out there going, well, Terry, you don't know my schedule. I am so busy. I am so stressed. That's why I am so tired. Weight gain. So Linda's been noticing as she's approaching 45 and she's getting a little bit older. She's still young in my book, but as she's getting a little older, that she's starting to get a little thicker around the middle. And immediately she thinks, oh, I'm just getting older. I can't help that. It's just a sign of age. Craving some food, sugary foods right after eating. Difficulty concentrating. Maybe she finds herself having some brain fog or having difficulty concentrating. Again, she might chalk it up to stress. Anybody out there, you can drop in the chat, hey, that's me. I know, I've been there. You're saying some things that resonate with me. How about high blood pressure? Now, this may be for you, maybe for somebody you know. But high blood pressure is a sign of poor metabolic health. And if your blood pressure is high, she, again, might attribute it to just being stressed, right? Or I get high blood pressure from white coat syndrome. We hear that a lot, and it is a thing. But overall, your blood pressure should regulate. And elevated blood sugars, some skin changes, such as some darkening in the armpit area and around the neck can be from insulin resistance. So she could be having some of these things and not even really know it. Sleep issues is a big one, in mood, big. And again, when sometimes we start getting into this cycle, we feel like, hey, I'm not sleeping well, so therefore that's why I'm moody. And it doesn't help, but why are you not sleeping well? So I'm going to get into something that's really exciting. When I first found out about us releasing these two products right here, our daily health system that comprise of Transform and Activate, and I might need to take off my little screen thing because it's not showing. There they are. Transform and Activate. I, as a nurse, came out of my skin. I was so excited, especially when we launched Transform last October. This is our enzyme product that converts glucose to fiber. So it's a novel enzyme, and hear me out. As you eat and your food is being broken down into all those carbohydrates are getting broken down into sugars and starches, your fats are being broken down, your proteins, everything's being broken down. Well, as glucose is one of those molecules of sugar, as it's going through the digestive tract, you take this in 30 minutes to an hour before you eat. This enzyme will actually take 50 to 90% of that sugar and chain it together into a prebiotic fiber, which is healthy for your gut, and take it on through your gut. So you're not having the uptake of 50 to 90% of the glucose into your bloodstream. This is huge because most of us are getting way more sugar than we need. Sugar comes in so many hidden forms in our foods. And so when we're adding anything, even adding fruit juice, that sounds like it's natural and good for us, is adding added sugar to our food. So we don't need most of the sugar that we are receiving. This is taking 50 to 90% of that, taking it on through the body. That also means the calories of 50 to 90% of your sugar are not being taken up. Now, when your body isn't seeing all that glucose being taken up, it has less of an insulin response. And so people in metabolic health problems have seen that their insulin resistance is one of the main things. We walk around, we don't even know it. It's not a diagnosis. I can talk about it. It's a response. It's a response to what happens when you have insulin over and over being dumped into our system because of all the sugar we take in. So one way for our bodies to do what they need to do is to have less sugar there. So then it's not having as much of a response, and that can actually become something that can turn around. Now, we're not treating, curing, or preventing anything. We're supporting our body in the processes it was designed to do and seeing benefit from these supplements because of that support to our body. The other part that I get really, really excited about, so just for a moment on Transform, just think, anyone here know of anybody with any known blood sugar management issues? And did you know that oftentimes at night, I found this out because I wore a glucose monitor, a continuous one on my arm. Now, I've never had any issues. I've never had any kind of diagnosis, no pre-diagnosis, nothing. I've always been very optimal in my numbers, but I wore one. And what I found out, I was so surprised, is in the middle of the night, my blood sugars, this was before Transform and Activate, were dropping into the low 50s. So that meant then my cortisol was having to react to tell my liver to release the glucagon so that the glucose could get back out into the bloodstream and bring me back up. So that's a whole process. I know I just said a whole bunch of words, but what I want you to understand from that is it's a real process. It does involve cortisol. So when you hear these things about cortisol, cortisol's connected to metabolism. Your gut health is attached to your metabolism. So it's all interconnected. You can't silo one thing off from the other. So if you think you have one issue, one area, it's all interconnected. So anyway, starting with these, I wore my glucose monitor with the sugar to fiber enzyme, and I saw at night my sugar stayed stable. I didn't have the drops. I started sleeping so soundly. So that's just one of the things that can happen with us. The other is like with our Activate. This is our product that is a drink product, and I have it in a yummy glass here. You can see the pretty red pink color.
Oh, Terry, you got muted.
Well, there you go. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, like I was saying, we got the, with Activate, we have L-arginine, the B vitamins, hibiscus, lemon verbena, and blood orange in it. And it has been shown in studies where the polyphenols from these, like the blood orange, lemon verbena, and hibiscus, help activate your AMPK, help increase your GLP-1, decrease your ghrelin, which is your ghrelin. You remember, grr, makes your stomach growl. You're hungry with ghrelin. So it's helping decrease that hormone that makes you feel hungry, helping increase the hormone in your gut that helps you feel full, which is GLP-1. And then also helping activate our AMPK. I'm going to make this really fast because I think it's so important for people to understand. When you activate your AMPK, you're helping with your metabolic health, which is leading to help with your cardiovascular health, your brain health, your immune system. It's the things like our blood pressure. Our blood pressure is highly affected by too much sugar in our blood. So we bring that sugar down, helps with our blood sugar. L-arginine in our Activate helps our cardiovascular system, the vessels to relax, to soften, to become more pliable. So our blood pressure and our cardiovascular health is managed better. So there's so much that's interconnected in this. Folks, this is a unique system. There is nothing else like it on the market. This has 2 patents on it, this sugar to fiber enzyme, and then combined with our Activate drink. So you take one of these 30 minutes to an hour before you're eating a meal. You can drink this 1 to 2 times during the day. It comes with a lovely little guide, and I tell people start here. It's kind of conservative. It has you start with a drink of Activate in the morning, a Transform before your lunch and before your dinner. If you need to, you can add. You can add more Transform by taking some before breakfast if you take it, or eat a breakfast. You can take an Activate in the afternoon. But this is a fun little brochure that comes with our system that talks about health in general, like our exercise, our eating, the daily schedule, mind over matter. So folks, we want you to have the best of the best with your metabolic health because of what it means way beyond weight management. So with your weight management, yes, you're going to see weight management with good metabolic health, but you're going to see blood pressure management, you're going to see blood sugar management, you're going to see management with your triglycerides, your cholesterol. And so it's just so exciting for me to see that we have something natural. We are not, well, I'm just going to leave it there. We are natural. We're a natural option and a healthy option that people can maintain for life on this type of a product, or as long as they need to, and they don't have to worry about the nasty side effects. I'm excited to see where we're turning the tide with metabolic health with this. So with that, I just want to be able to bring on our next guest. I love Jen, Laurie. She and I have done some segments together. She is an amazing certified holistic nutrition practitioner who has helped hundreds of people in their health journey. She has been educated in supplementation and on therapeutic supplementation. And when other people have given up on everything else they've tried, she's been able to help them in their health journey. So there's no one better to talk about our next product line, which is our collagen. And I'm so excited to have you here, Jen. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. And you guys, who learned something? Like, hands up if you learned something, drop it in the chat. Who learned something new from Terry, and who, like, if you thought of someone, like, you got to share it with them. You got to share this. So this is being recorded in our group. Mindy had mentioned we have tons of testimonies. This is playing live right now in Healthy Fit Beautiful, and you can invite people to come on and watch this and learn more about metabolic health from the amazing Terry, who, yes, we have partnered a couple of times on some health talks. We're very passionate about metabolic health. And the next product that I'm going to be talking about is collagen, which is part of metabolic health when you think of it from the standpoint that metabolic health is that cellular function, and collagen is the cellular structure, right? So it's all connected. Like Terry said, everything is connected in our body. And so It's my pleasure to talk about our collagen. It's one of the products that absolutely changed my life. And I had tried other collagens on the market before, and I was really having trouble finding one that was active at the cellular level, the depth that I was looking to get results from. We hear it all the times, hair, skin, nails, beauty product. We hear it all the time. But the reality is I am grateful for those attributes to collagen, but I really wanted the in-depth cellular action from collagen. I needed to get rid of inflammation in my body, chronic pain that I'd been suffering with for 25 years. I was suffering with chronic back pain and flare-ups in my back. It's been 18 months since using our collagen, and I have not had any back pain. I've lived with back pain for 25 years, being told that this is just the way it is. And so maybe you know someone who's suffering from pain and is being told there's nothing else you can do. There is. Let me be a beacon of hope here tonight. So we actually have two options, and I'm going to talk a little bit about deeper into collagen first, so you have an understanding of collagen. Collagen is a structural protein in our body, and we need to supplement with it beyond our 20s because our body stops producing it, starts to stop producing it at the age of 20, and by the time we're 40, if we're lucky, we might be producing a little, right? A little, bare minimum. And so it's really important to supplement with it. And though not all collagen on the market is equal, so it's really important to understand the hydrogenation process between different collagens. And what that hydrogenation process is, the purpose behind it is to break it into a smaller molecular weight that your body can actually absorb. Because it is a structural protein, collagen itself, the collagen protein, it's not absorbable through your skin. It's not absorbable through your digestive system. It's too structurally strong for your digestive system to even break it apart. So it needs to be it needs to be hydrolyzed. Sorry. Hydrolyzed is the right word. So but here's the thing, not everybody uses the same hydrolyzation processes. Here at Trinat, we use a fruit enzyme to break it down into the smaller molecular structure. This is very important because a lot of companies are using things like petrochemicals and acids. And what happens when we use those processes is it denatures the protein, and it's not going to be as effective in our body because it's basically damaging the proteins. So your body is not going to be able to utilize it the same way. So hydrolyzation process is very, very necessary to know. So you can definitely, do some research into the different hydrolyzation processes and look into that yourself. But so that really matters. Hydrolyzation processes matters, but also what matters in a collagen product is the formulation. The formulation matters, and I call our collagens a triple action collagen because both of our collagens actually prevent collagen breakdown in the body. They boost collagen production in the body, so they give your body the ingredients to be able to make collagen again. And then they also have a phytonutrient protection, which actually inhibits an enzyme in your body that breaks it down. So that's that preventing of the breakdown. And then you're going to get this highly absorbable form of collagen that your body can utilize right away. So we see so many people having incredible results really, really quickly. So we have a bovine collagen that comes in liquid form, and then we have a marine collagen. It is a tripeptide formula. It's a brand new technology on the market. But let's just talk about the difference between that first of all. So bovine collagen is actually a type 1 and type 3 collagen. Marine collagen is a type 1 collagen, okay? And our marine collagen actually comes in powdered form, which is really cool because with it being the tripeptide formula, it has the equal absorption, which is unheard of. It is such an amazing formula. It is a brand new technology, but I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the two. So first of all, bovine is coming from cow, right? So if for some reason you cannot or do not consume this type of animal product, we have this for you, right? We have this a marine-based one. So we have different options. Some of them they're gonna have some of the similar attributes, and then there's going to be a couple of different ones. So they're both going to be great for your hair, skin, and nails. They're both going to be really great for that anti-inflammatory action in your body. A lot of people see improvements in their sleep when they consume this collagen. There's a accelerated healing going on in the body. So wounds, like if you have old scars, stuff like that, they'll start I had really bad acne as an adult, not as a child, in my 20s. And it actually left a lot of scarring on my face, and it's all completely gone. I don't have to wear any sort of makeup or foundation anymore, which I love because I hate the feeling of anything on my face. So, or anything on my skin in general, I don't like it. And the other thing I've really noticed is like, I live where it's really cold and dry in winter, and I didn't have to put lotion on my hands once and they weren't cracking. My lips weren't cracking all winter long. My feet weren't cracking all winter long. It was amazing to go through a winter season and not have those problems. So what that is that's really bringing the hydration into the cells of the skin. So it's going to really help with that. And then you get that deep action of relief in the joints, right? Because collagen, collagen is your bones. A third of your bone makeup is actually collagen. Did you know that you actually can't absorb calcium into your bone if you're deficient in collagen in your body, because it has nothing to stick to, because it's like the scaffolding in your bone. So that's something just to be mindful of as well. It is your gut lining, right? It's your gut lining. So if you've ever heard of something called leaky gut syndrome is when larger particles start floating around in your digestive system because your gut lining isn't sealed. This can help reseal your gut lining. It is so good for, again, all your connective tissues and stuff. I have been able to take fitness to the next level because of this collagen, because it is so supportive in my joints, in my knees, all the things that used to really hurt and creak going up and down stairs or after a workout. So good. So what is the difference? So a couple of differences is with the type 3 collagen found in the bovine collagen, it's going to give you an added bonus of cardiovascular support, because it is actually type 3 collagen is actually the collagen in your arterial walls. So that's going to be really impactful. And then also it has that L-arginine in it. So it's or L-citrulline, sorry. It has L-citrulline in it, which really helps with blood circulation. So for cardiovascular health, on top of all those other things, I think our bovine collagen wins the medal between the two, to be quite honest. And so I think like that's something really to be mindful of. It also has a clinical dosage of biotin in it. So if you're looking for a formula with that clinical dosage of biotin, it's going to be really good for hair growth. So that's what this is going to be really good for. Now, our marine collagen is more known for that skin health. It's more known for skin health. And we have an apple extract in here that takes that to a whole new level. So there are clinical studies attached to this product that show improvements of 42% in just 8 weeks. Like mind blowing. So I really think this is an amazing beauty formula. I'm greedy and like both, so I use both. I want all the results, so I use both personally. But this really does have the highest absorption rate of any marine-based collagen because of this tripeptide technology that we've got in here. So that is what I have to say about collagen. It is so important. If you are, I'm going to say, if you are over 30 years old, it is so important to start supplementing with a good collagen that's going to keep your body fortified, because it is going to prevent injury and keep you feeling youthful. It helps with your energy levels because, again, we're talking at the cellular level and we need the cells to be strong. I was actually doing some research. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more information as I conclude this research, but I was researching into cellulite, because we think that cellulite is normal, but there's different levels of cellulite, and some cellulite is actually quite dangerous because it's the cells collapsing. It's the skin cells collapsing. And so I'm going to stay tuned for me to be talking more in this group about that as my research concludes. But that's what I've got to say about collagen for tonight.
I love it. Jen, thank you so much. Wow, what an amazing training. I mean, truly, I always learn something every time I hear these two ladies train. Drop some love and tell them how great they both are, because we truly are blessed to have their education, and they always give us more. And so thank you so much. First of all, I have to say a little bit about all of these products really quick. So the DHS system, I was able to break through a weight plateau when I turned 50 years old. It was like everything stopped, everything dropped in my body. I could relate to everything when Terry was reading a little story about that person who had those issues. That was me, like, just getting more tired. And how many of you could relate to that, right? But I started taking Transform, and I was able to break through a weight plateau, lost 6 pounds fairly quickly. And I was shocked because I had, I eat pretty healthy, but I noticed, and I work out, but I noticed I felt a little bit fuller. I wasn't running to the pantry every time, to go get that sweet after I would eat. I wasn't as hangry. How many of you can relate to that? And I've just noticed, and then the Activate just helps curb my appetite. I noticed with the Activate that I have more energy too. Like in the morning, I never thought I was a morning person, but I feel like I'm a morning person now. I don't know. I have more energy. It's something's changed in my body. And I truly believe that focusing on metabolic health is so important. So I'm grateful for that. And then the glow, I can't say enough about the glow. Like, I used to have joint issues in my knees, especially because I was a cheerleader in high school and killed my knees because I was jumping all over the place, when I was young, and then running, of course. But I don't have those issues anymore. Truly, the glow helped my joints in a major way. And then, of course, I love the benefits of thicker hair, smoother skin. I love the taste of Glow M. It is so yummy. And I love the little packets too. And it's great to know that Glow M is great for skin. And, I use both of them because I want the benefits of both too. So anyway, thank you so much for both of you sharing, but I just want to kind of tell all of you my story as to why I have been so focused on health. I don't have all the fancy degrees that, Terry, registered nurse Terry and holistic practitioner Laurie has. I've just really been focused on health because many years ago, I started not feeling good. How many of you know somebody that maybe you just don't feel very good, right? And they don't really know why. For me, it was when I turned 20 years old, or around that time, I started noticing that, like, when I would get cold, I would get rashes all over me. Or then it got to a point where I didn't know, it wasn't even when I was cold. I was just like, I would get mucusy, I would get headaches. I just didn't feel very good. And I started having these allergic reactions or symptoms to everything. I thought maybe I was allergic to air conditioning at one time. I thought I was allergic to milk. I went to all the holistic doctors and they tested me. And one of them said I was allergic to all superfoods. And I love blueberries. I love, sunflower seeds and nuts and all acai. I love it all. And I couldn't have, they said I was allergic to spinach. I was like, what? These are my favorites. And then I found out I wasn't allergic to milk, but I was allergic to almonds. And here I was drinking almond milk because I thought I was allergic to milk. Can anybody relate to all this? Like, I really didn't know what was wrong with me. And I would eat and I would get bloated and I would feel like crap. And so long story short, like 5 or 6 years ago, we got started with this company and we launched CBD. And you guys, we have an amazing CBD line, and sometime we'll do a health talk about that. But we launched CBD, and a doctor from Boise came to this event, and I started telling him about all of my issues. Like, you know, I have these headaches and I feel like I'm a healthy person. Like, but I mean, I look like I'm a healthy person, but I don't feel like a healthy person. That's what I mean. I feel like I want to take a nap. Nobody really knows I have these issues, but what is wrong with me? And he said, well, here's the deal. There's really 3 things that cause issues with our body. One is deficiency. So not getting nutrients from our foods. Okay. That can cause issues. And as we all know, our soil is mineral nutrient depleted. And so we can eat many, many vegetables and fruits, and Jen's an expert probably in this arena. But you know, we're not getting the nutrients from our foods like we used to get many years ago. And so supplementing with whole food supplements is so important. Here's the problem. 9 out of 10 supplements out there are synthetic. So it's really important to make sure you have whole food supplements like food. Our body's looking for food, right? Food. So we actually have supplements that have whole food nutrition. But you're only as good as what your body digests, right? And what your body absorbs. Like, we can eat all kinds of foods, but if our body is actually not getting those nutrients to our cells, then that's not going to work either. And so making sure those nutrients get to our cells. And here's this doctor telling me all this, and I'm like, okay, but how do I fix my problem, right? The second thing he said is toxins in our food, toxins in the air, that can cause all kinds of issues. And I don't know about you guys, but like, how do we get away from that, right? It's all over the place. So toxins are an issue. And then the third thing that can cause an issue is when we have an imbalance in our body, when our body is not, you know, our body is constantly trying to regulate itself. It's trying to make sure our pH is balanced, temperature, right? All of those different things, hormones. And so if that's off, we can be all over the place. What I love about what we do is that we focus on those different areas. And one of the things that this doctor said is, listen, I bet you have a toxic buildup in your body. And you are having these allergic reactions, you're having these headaches, all of these things because you have too many toxins in your body. So what you need to do is get rid of those toxins. And I'm like, well, how do I do that? He said, well, you can water fast, which I actually was studying water fasting forever. How many of you water fast? Here's the deal. It's hard to water fast, especially when there's all of these yummy things all around us, right? And parties and everything else. But I was like, I'm totally committed to that. And I actually do water fasting every so often. But he said another thing that can really help with getting rid of toxins is enzymes. And, you know, I had learned about enzymes a little bit, but not got really detailed into them. And he gave me a little education about enzymes. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this because you guys, this changed my life. Okay. So I'm going to just share my screen because like I said, I will never claim that I know all of these things. I have, and if you want to know, like there's resources about these 3 things that cause issues here with our bodies from doctors and people. I just started really studying this because I knew that this was something that could help so many people. And so here's our biggest problem, and Terry hit it right on the nose. You know, we eat a lot of cooked and processed foods. And if we were eating organic and living foods, raw foods, then we would be getting those raw enzymes from our foods. But once we cook those foods, we kill the enzymes in our foods. So now we have to rely on the enzymes in our pancreas. And the problem is if we eat a lot of cooked and processed foods, we deplete those enzymes in our pancreas. And so it's really important to supplement with enzymes. Here's why. 80% of our immune system resides in our gut. Our gut is like our second brain. Okay. So the gut is so important, for your mood. It's important for your immune system, for everything. And enzymes will help get nutrients to our cells. Enzymes may reduce inflammation, which, if you study that a little bit more, they talk about how that can be a secret killer. But enzymes also help carry away toxic waste. Now, this Dr. Newsom here in Boise, said, Mindy, I recommend that you take 10 proteolytic enzymes a day. For as long as you've had these symptoms, for every year that you've had these symptoms, take 10 a day for at least 1 month. Okay. So like if it's 1 year, take at least, for 1 year. Well, I was looking at 28 years. Okay. I'm now 53 years old. This was 6 years ago. So I was 47. And this started when I was 20. So 20, or maybe I was 48, but I was looking at about 28 months to take 10 enzymes a day. But here's what happened. I noticed after the first even week, I started not to feel like I needed to have, this allergy medicine all of the time. But then after the first month, I started feeling even better. And I will tell you today, after that 28 months, I feel better today than I felt in my 30s and my 40s. I don't have those symptoms anymore, which is crazy. He was absolutely right. It was a toxic buildup for me. And so enzymes are so important to help with so many different things, get nutrients to your cells, digestive, anybody that you know. I have a sister who's lactose intolerant, another sister who is gluten intolerant. And this has helped them tremendously with digestive issues. I want to show you, because we have proteolytic enzymes, we also have digestive enzymes that you take every time you eat. And I will tell you, for me, this has been a lifesaver because I can now eat bread without the bloat. I just feel better. I feel lighter. But I want to show you a little demonstration. Okay, so I have this pudding here. And this is snackback pudding. I'm sure that you would agree with me that this is cooked and processed, right? It is a pudding that is shelf stable for almost 2 years, and it's a milk product. So that tells me that this must have something in it that processes it. Now we've probably all had these. In fact, I used to give these to my kids for lunch. As part of their lunch. And I never really thought about how processed this really is, but we're going to pretend that I had one of these with this pudding. So I'm going to put this into this pudding, and I want you to see how it breaks it down. Okay. So let me see if you can see this here. Now this is one enzyme. It has the full spectrum. So it's a plant-based enzyme that has the full spectrum to break down the carbs, the fats, the proteins, the fiber, the gluten, the sugar, all of the things that are in this pudding. Now, what I love about this is that the minute that it goes, or the second really that it goes in this, it starts to break this down. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's starting to bubble up, breaking this down. And what it's doing is basically breaking down our foods to the smallest molecule, like the fats to fatty acids, the proteins to amino acids, to get the nutrients to our cells and get rid of the waste that maybe is in this. And, some of you that have ever taken these enzymes, maybe drop it in the chat and let our friends know how this has blessed you. Some people have seen that they just feel better when they eat. They don't have the bloat. Some people have seen maybe some weight loss, but check this out. See how it breaks it down? And it will even liquefy this even more the longer that it's in this. Now, Some of you saw this. It doesn't help that it's brown pudding, but some of you saw this and you're thinking, do I have to sit on the toilet every time I eat when I take this? This is not going to make you sit on the toilet every time you eat, okay, when you take this. But what it is going to do is it's going to make you regular. And if you think about it, it's so important for us to be regular. What do babies do? Babies go through diapers like sometimes 10 a day, right? They eat and then they poop and then they eat and then they poop because our bodies are designed to get rid of waste. But as we get older, if we're not pooping, okay, we're having problems, okay? Now, if we're pooping too much, we're also having problems. And so what I love about this is not going to make you poop too much. It's going to get your body healthy and back to where it needs to be. So if you are pooping too much, actually, it's going to make it so you're not making that happen. And if you just jumped on this webinar, you're probably like, what is this webinar all about? But I just want you to know that this is so important if we eat any cooked and processed food. So I want to ask all of you a question. I want to see if you're listening to me. How many of you know somebody that eats cooked or processed foods? Just raise your hand. Let me know. I want to see if you're listening. Okay, you do know people. So this is what I'm asking, okay? Please share this with everybody that you love. Everybody that you know needs to have digestive enzymes in their life. The full spectrum, a plant-based enzyme. When I say the full spectrum, an enzyme that breaks down everything, okay? Because there are enzymes out there, but they don't break down the full spectrum. Maybe they break down proteins, but they don't break down fats or sugars or gluten or fiber, those kinds of things. So it's important to have the full spectrum and a plant-based enzyme. So I just love sharing this because we want everybody to be healthy. Could you imagine our world if more people had this education and were healthy so that they could live a long, happy, healthy life? And that's what we're all about. That's our mission. That's what we want to go do. And here's what I will tell you. If you loved this and you're like watching this going, okay, first of all, I need these products in my life. Get back with the person who invited you on so that we do these Wednesday wellnesses, health talks all the time. Okay, so you can learn more. We have the very best to share their knowledge about how we can improve our health and become better. But they can introduce you to some of these products that also help and get you, in a platform to learn more. But if you're not just like, not only do I need these products, but I need my sister, my mom, my aunt, my brother to know about these products. Well, there is an opportunity to this, a business opportunity to this. As you share, you can earn commissions. And I'm not going to go into that tonight, but if you want more information, tomorrow night on this exact same link at the same time, so 5 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to talk a little bit more about the many more products that we have, because we have a lot of them that are blessing so many people's lives. And we're going to go into how you can earn an income if you choose to build a life on your own terms, where basically you can have your own online storefront, you can work from wherever, and create those options for you and for your family. And so we'll get into that tomorrow night on this same link. So get back with the person who invited you on and they can get you that information for tomorrow night. But thank you again for joining us. Terry Hartke, Miss Jen, Laurie, thank you so much. You two are rock stars. We truly appreciate your knowledge and everything that you bring over to all of us. You've blessed us in so many ways. And Miss Deanna Bivens, thank you so much for helping us make all of this whole webinar happen and bringing everybody in. So we love you all. Again, thank you. And we'll see all of you tomorrow night on the same link. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.